Sup nerds, I'm Tom. We're going to talk about a little dice game with flowers called Bloom. Yeah! Bloom is a pretty quick, pretty light roll and write game, which means you roll dice, you draft the dice you want to take, and then you mark something off on your sheet. Everybody has a sheet of paper, and we're all trying to score points based off of what we're marking off on this sheet. And it is important to note that one of the first things that I noticed about this game was pretty cool. I have yet to see this in other roll and writes. I mean, I guess I'm still relatively new to roll and writes. I haven't played a lot, but they have different types of sheets. They have A, B, C, and D. So you could play wherever, and E, right, because it goes up to 5 players. So you could play where everybody has a slightly different sheet. Now it's just the distribution of the flowers. You're going to be rolling and marking off, clumps of flowers. So the difference is just the distribution. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a nice inclusion. But you're just simply rolling the dice, picking one, and based off of that color, you're going to try and circle a big clump of that color of flowers. The whites are wild. This white here is a wild. But, you have to circle that number of flowers. So if I took this orange 5, I would need to try and find 5 oranges clumped together. Well, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 oranges, and hey, a white next to it that's a wild. I'll go ahead and be able to circle that clump. For every color that you circle that wasn't the color of the die. So if I were to circle, let's say this wild wasn't here. Let's say I circled a blue in addition. So I circled 5 flowers, but only 4 of them were orange. I would take a negative point. Or I could just opt not to circle an additional thing for everything I didn't circle. Like if I just circled the 4 orange without anything, so that's 1 less than 5, I would take a negative point for that as well. On the sheet, you're trying to you're trying to do both, but these are the 2 different scoring options, is to fill up a whole bed, which is a whole big rectangle with all the flowers, or trying to be the first to finish a certain color, or the second or the third to finish the color, but you get more points if you're the first. You also have 1 reroll that you can use during the game, and that's pretty much it. Again, it's really light, pretty quick, very easy for people to get a hold of, but it's really thinky. It's very similar to their other game called Qwixx. It even comes in practically the same box. But it's a really quick roll and write that you can learn fast. You can teach it to, I basically just taught it to you right there. You can teach it to somebody in 2 minutes, but it does come with some tough decisions and almost a little bit of like a learning curve. Because I realized after my first game, maybe I don't want to just use up all the wilds all the time. Maybe I do want to leave a single wild by itself, because a lot of the times a 1 will get rolled and that's really undesirable. I just rolled it right there. That was awesome. A 1 will get rolled and it's really undesirable, and maybe that's the 1 you're left to draft. So you might want to, leave a 1 open, a 1 wild. Hey, you can take any 1. That's a pretty good deal. But again, it doesn't seem like it would have that much strategy at first. But as you kind of dive into it, you start to realize, okay, next game I would do this a little bit differently. It's really colorful and pretty thematic, actually. You get unhappy customers if you don't give them as many flowers, or if you give them the wrong color of flower. Ultimately, it's pretty abstract, but they did a good job of making the flower theme kind of work. I love the colorful sheets and the different types of sheets. I like the colorful die. I really like the how the white isn't white. It's like this foggy type of thing. That's cool. I apologize if this is going to be a short video, because there really isn't too much to talk about with this game, but it is really fun. I like it. I really like little, travel-sized games that you can bring with you and you can play pretty much anywhere, but that aren't dumb. You know what I mean? Zombie Dice is fun, but it's a turn off your brain kind of fun. And I'm not crapping on it. I've played Zombie Dice and Martian Dice 1,000 times. But where this type of game has an edge over it is that, it's just as travel size, it's just as compact, it's easy to teach, but you actually really have some meat to the game there. Now, of course, maybe Zombie Dice is better because you can play it in 5 minutes. This takes, what does it say? It says 20 minutes. That's probably about right. Maybe you could play, if it was 2 players, you could play it in 10 to 15. But, this just hits a really good spot for me, where it's pretty quick, but I can keep it in my car. I can put it in my glove compartment. except it doesn't come with pens. So, I mean, not all roll and writes come with pens, but I would have to keep pens in my car. And this box seems about big enough. I could put little pens in here. But I did really enjoy it. Probably liked it better than Quicks. I liked Quicks a lot, but I might like this one just a smidge better. And if any of what I was talking about in this video sounds interesting to you, I'm going to go ahead and put a purchase link in the description box down below where you can get a copy of Bloom. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.